Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to present the St. Mary's River Fisheries Task Group update today. There's a lot going on in the waters connecting Lake Superior and Lake Huron, and this will be a brief overview of some of those issues, as well as ongoing and planned projects by the task group and its member agencies. We are excited about an ongoing lake sturgeon study in the river, which was initiated by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in 2019 with assistance from other project partners, as a set-line survey to study the lake sturgeon population in the river. We are planning to expand on the lake sturgeon study starting in 2021, looking at critical habitats and population characteristics through tagging and acoustic telemetry. The project objectives include 1. Habitat use by life stage, including adults and subadults. 2. River population abundance. 3. Survival by life stage. And 4. Composition of the St. Mary's River stock. This project is a collaborative study, the agencies providing substantial in-kind contributions, including hydrophone receivers. We are still seeking funding, however, for project implementation in 2022 and beyond. Here's a map of the proposed placement of the hydrophone array for the St. Mary's River Lake Sturgeon study. There are 54 hydrophone locations proposed throughout the river, with hydrophones provided by task group member agencies. We are coordinating this through GLaDOS as well. OMNRF will also be deploying an array of acoustic receivers in the North Channel and Lake Huron that will extend the coverage of the array planned for the SMR sturgeon study. An emerging issue of concern in the St. Mary's River is didymo, or rock snot. Didymo is a stalked diatom that can bloom to nuisance levels. It is brown to white in color, feels like wet wool, and looks like used toilet paper. It was first reported in the main St. Mary's River Rapids in June 2015, which was also the first location documented in Michigan waters. Pictures here on the left show didymo blooms in the St. Mary's River Rapids, and picture on the right was taken by DFO of didymo in the screens of a trap. Didymo is considered to be widespread in distribution, but is considered rare in northern, cold, oligotrophic waters. Here are a few more pictures showing didymo in the river and its extensive extracellular stalk production. The stalks can create 2 to 3 foot long mats. Here's some pictures of didymo in the vicinity of a drift net, as well as some didymo collected from the Little Rapids area of the river. There remain a number of research needs for didymo in the St. Mary's River, including surveillance monitoring of the river, tributaries, and Lake Superior shoreline, as well as a better understanding of environmental triggers for the blooms, such as dissolved nutrients, nutrient limitation, flow, etc. There's also a need to evaluate the ecological impacts of didymo in the river. A pilot study on the effects on fish spawning and egg survival will start in 2021. Other needs include studying the changes to benthos and nearshore hypoxia issues related to the floating mats of didymo. LSSU is currently seeking funding to address some of the research needs and is working with the Sioux Tribe, Bay Mills Indian Community, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers as well on a potential project. Another area of interest in the St. Mary's River is the Little Rapids. For those unfamiliar with the area, this is one of 4 historic rapids areas in the St. Mary's River. This area has a causeway which previously blocked most of the flow with only 2 6-foot culverts at the time. A bridge of over 600 feet in length was installed in fall 2016 to restore flow to the historic rapids area as part of the Little Rapids Restoration Project. This project addressed a beneficial use impairment for the St. Mary's River area of concern. As I said previously, this project was completed in November 2016, with short-term monitoring of effects occurring through 2018. The short-term monitoring found an increase in sensitive macroinvertebrate taxa, an increase in cool water lithophilic fish species, an increase in game fish, and an increase in recreational fishing use in this area. Longer-term monitoring of the ecological response to the restoration project is proposed. We are currently seeking funding to accomplish that monitoring. Another project of interest is being done by the USGS, LSSU, and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers as part of an evaluation of recent improvements in operations of the compensating gates. The objectives of the project are to study the larval fish drift and production coming from the St. Mary's River rapids, and to see how the larval fish production relates to river discharge and velocity changes at various gate settings. Field collections so far have found lake sturgeon spawning and larval drift in the rapids area, and that larval drift is dominated by rainbow smelt, with evidence of coragonid spawning and transport as well. Full field season is planned for 2021, along with ongoing modeling of hydrology and larval drift. Another part of this study is measuring the extent of exposed riverbed and stranding of fishes after the winter gate closures at the compensating gates. The rapids area was surveyed in 2019 and 2020, immediately after gate closure. Some stranding of forage fish and salmonid eggs and fry was found. The impact, however, likely depends on the month and week of closure to avoid active spawning. A proposal for continued study of this issue is being developed. Sea lamprey control is also continuing in the St. Mary's River. Approximately 312 hectares of high-density larval habitat are scheduled for balicide treatment in 2021. The Root River and possibly the Whitefish Channel will be treated in 2021, pending approval from the Batchewana First Nation. I believe additional information is being presented on sea lamprey control basin-wide during this session. Another survey effort by task group members includes aquatic invasive species early detection and monitoring, which targets juvenile and adult fish new to the Great Lakes. This is an annual survey initiated in 2013 by the Fish and Wildlife Service. Partners include OMNRF and the Sioux Tribe. The good news is no new invasive species were detected in 2020. A lot of fish were examined, over 5,000, representing 46 taxa at 69 sites. All sites were sampled by Sioux Tribe in 2020. The map shows the locations of round goby and ruff collected in 2020, with stars in the upper river representing occurrences of ruff and the red dots in the lower river representing occurrences of round goby. A topic of great interest to many is the construction of a new lock in Sault Ste. Marie by the Corps of Engineers to accommodate 1,000-foot freighters. Here's a brief update on the status of that project. Dredging of the upstream approach is scheduled to end in 2021, while the construction of the approach walls will start this year. Planning and permitting for Phase 3 is underway, and fisheries concerns are being addressed as part of that process. Major parts of the Phase 3 include blasting and dredging in the drive for the new lock, and a bridge and parking deck to the new power plant. Based on fisheries comments, The bridge will be clear span, with construction starting in the fall of 2021 or spring of 2022. Here's an overhead image of the Soo locks to show some of the areas I mentioned on the previous slide. Here's the upstream approach channel and the approach walls. Here's the north power plant. The existing pedestrian bridge here will be removed, and the vehicular bridge and parking deck will be constructed from the northeast pier to the north power plant. The blasting will occur in the Sabin and Davis locks, which will be the location of the new lock. Finally, I'd like to highlight a pair of surveys planned by the task group for 2022, the Fish Community Survey and the Whole River Creel Survey. First, the Fish Community Survey. This is a long-term survey series, with the 2022 effort being the 10th in the series that started in 1975. A total of 45 stations and locations will be sampled, with all task group member agencies participating. The survey was last done in 2017 and is planned to be conducted every 5 years in conjunction with the CSMI Year of Intensive Monitoring for Lake Huron. The Whole River Creel Survey is the other survey scheduled for 2022 and is being planned as well for every 5 years to accompany the Fish Community Survey and the CSMI Year of Intensive Monitoring. 2022 will be just the third creel survey to cover the whole river, downstream of the compensating works. Previous surveys have shown that the river receives a substantial amount of fishing effort, about 35% or more compared to all the fishing effort of the Michigan waters in Lake Huron. This is an expensive survey, though, as it requires flights for fishing pressure counts and a minimum of 4 creel clerks, 2 on the Michigan side, 2 on the Ontario side. We are still seeking funding for this survey, but are excited about accomplishing both the Fish Community Survey and the Creel Survey in 2022. Again, thank you for the opportunity to provide this update, and with that, I will entertain any questions.